For a long time now, Hi-Rez has had a knack for taking the trending style of game and making a subpar version for themselves and eventually dropping it and moving on. You know, you have Paladins when Overwatch came out, you have Realms Royale when Fortnite came out, and Smite when League of Legends came out. And I don't want this to be a judge on those games' character or how fun those games are, because I actually really like Smite and I think that it's fun, but they do just tend to jump onto the bandwagon and try to profit off of what's big and what's going on at that time. That's no secret. And oftentimes, those are free alternatives to that genre's game and allow for a fun experience. You know, Paladins was the free Overwatch, and I remember a lot of people enjoying it a lot. But they did come out whenever those games got big, and they were trying to buy off of the surrounding hype. And now they've made a tactical shooter game since those are big, and they don't really do it well. It's not a very fun game, and I want to get into the nitty-gritty of each individual aspect. I want to go by characters, weapons, gameplay, balancing, and finally their microtransaction system, and I want to show why I don't really think that this is a very good game. Not necessarily that it's not made well, but really that it's just not fun and very boring. To start off with the characters, you know, the first operator is a ripoff of a Siege character. It's just Mira with an exploding window that you can shoot out from. All the other characters are generic. They are kind of boring and bland, or they're ripped off from other characters. We have Trench with a barbed wire grenade just like Gridlock, or Talon who has a recon bolt that reveals opponents in the area like Sova from Valorant. And that's just the abilities. It's not even getting into the character designs that are copy and pasted or generic from other games like Glitch, who's your hacker with the face changing mask that you just see in everything relating to hackers, and it's just boring and not well conceived. And they could have put just a little bit of extra effort into these characters' designs that would have drawn more people in and had them stay because they're like, oh, I like these characters, which is exactly what a lot of people in the Valorant community like to do. Is they get attached to one character and like, I want to play this one because I like their personality, I like their abilities. But in this, you really don't have any personality to any of these characters. They're just bland characters. They're bland models. They don't do anything special. They're just kind of lame. Along with this, a lot of the characters are locked behind the paywall, which is fine because they want you to play their game, but it's absurd amounts of games for each one, and up to 100 games for one character, I think, not even counting daily bonuses. So you could get it potentially sooner, but not by much. And I might have done my math wrong on that, but I still think that anything in that realm is just all way too much. Very closely related to these characters are their weapons, which are tied to the characters. You get 2 primaries per character and you have to choose which one you want. But the problem is that they're all very samey, and if they aren't samey, then they're just really bad. Take Phantom, for example, the sniper character, who has 1 sniper rifle and 1 DMR. And with the sniper rifle, you have to be pinpoint, and to get an instant kill, you have to hit them on the head, or they can take cover and heal, because this game has a healing factor to where you can just hide and not die. This makes it hard for her to follow up on something with the sniper rifle because all the opponents are running away. And along with that, her kit is built around seeing opponents behind walls or seeing them through a smoke, but there's no bullet penetration in this game through walls. You can't shoot somebody through the wall, and that just makes her really boring and not fun to play, because why play her when you can play the guy with the AK, the guy with the submachine gun, who can also see through walls, but doesn't have to worry about not following up on a kill. That's just the biggest example of the disparity in the weapons that I've seen. There's also Anvil's LMG that's just really underwhelming and boring and not fun to use. It doesn't hit what you want it to. Or even a lot of the AKs with some of the characters, they're just kind of boring. They all feel the same, and they're not fun. I'm finding trouble to describe a lot of this because that's just what it is. It's boring. It's not a good time. Onto the gameplay as a whole, it's just repetitive gunplay, and it doesn't really push you as a player that hard. And if you have the wrong character in a game, then you're kind of fucked. The maps are small, confined, and confusing in some ways, to where it doesn't really lend itself to anything but fast-paced SMG gameplay, where you run in, you kill somebody as fast as you can, you hope that he doesn't have somebody to follow up behind them. I really don't like the maps for that reason, is they're way too small, and I understand that they're going for a more fast-paced game, but after they've taken so much from other games, I don't know why they decided to stop with the map design and making the maps just kind of not fun to be on and not interesting at all. The game modes are really basic and not inspired, but I can't really fault them for it because it's just demolition and a deathmatch game mode and then another demolition. I think that one really confuses me, but the game modes aren't bad, they're just there. And I played mostly the demolition proper, but I also played a lot of the deathmatch just to get a feel for it, and it's just basically boiling down to kill the other team first. Rarely did we have an objective win, rarely did that matter. It's just deathmatch most of the time. And I think that that's kind of the gameplay they're wanting from this, is for it to just be a quick shooter. Each round is like a minute and a half, and each game ends up being like 10 minutes, even though there's 14 rounds possible. And going on to another aspect of the gameplay is the animations, which are not very good in this game. Take, for example, the first animation that you'll see when you start a game, which is you paragliding out of a helicopter onto the point. You turn into a board, and you fly down, and then you roll. And it's that every single time. There's nothing special, there's nothing unique, and it's poorly done. And I understand this game's in beta, so maybe they'll fix that later on. Maybe they'll try to make a change to it. But I really think that it was unnecessary and could have been done differently. Or in the very least, have made it just a little bit better. Balancing in a multiplayer game is probably the most important thing besides having fun gameplay. And that's to ensure that the players don't get tired of the same repetitive things over and over and over again, and this game does not do that at all. Some of the characters are less than useless, such as Phantom, and I know I'm bagging on Phantom, but that's just because a sniper rifle should have a lot of impact on a game. It really should carry a lot of weight, and we see that in every other tactical shooter ever. But from all the hours I played, she has the lowest pick rate. I've been the only one who played her on any of my teams. And for good reason, is because she doesn't have that impact. She doesn't have a huge role to play in the game because of the map design. Because of the way that they want this game to be, a sniper character doesn't really have the biggest plays. But then on the other end of the spectrum, you have characters like Dallas, who has an automatic weapon, which is fine because it's just default, or his shotgun DMR, which is also fine because a DMR can be fine. But his ability allows him to see somebody, the nearest person to him, from any distance through all walls for a period of time, which allows him to get right up and personal to him, or to set up a line of sight on this person. And that's just plain unfair, because it gives you so much information for so long, and then once you kill the person that you are hunting, you get another use of it. You get another snap of your fingers, and you get to see anybody on the map. Anvil is another one whose ability is just kind of subpar, because all he does is throw down a shield, and it has a window on it that you can shoot from. And in this kind of shooter, in this fast-paced shooter, it doesn't work. In Siege, it can totally work. It can be fine, and it can have a whole lot of benefits to you because you're holding down a point. But here, you're moving around so much, you're dodge rolling, you're jumping to and from. It doesn't work. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was their microtransaction system, which is just basically Fortnite's microtransaction system. The store looks the same as the old store when I used to play Fortnite. It has the same budget style of Rogue Bucks, and you have to buy the Rogue Bucks for $20 for 2,000, I believe, and you can buy a $20 skin for your character. The difference is that Fortnite wasn't in beta. At least the Battle Royale wasn't in beta at that time when they started becoming really big. But this game is a $15 beta. So not only do you have to pay to get in, but if you want to customize your character, if you want to get something nice for your character, you do have to pay that $20, that $15, that $5, whatever, to get a new skin, to get a new glider skin, to get a new spray. And I think that all of them so far have just been rather uninspired, and I really wouldn't recommend anybody buying them. But I have seen people already having the most expensive items, the $20 skins in the game, and that kind of blew my mind a little bit. I really do find it okay for a game to have cosmetic microtransactions. That's fine, but I really don't think that a game in beta should be having these microtransactions at all. But honestly, it feels kind of par for the course for Hi-Rez in general when they put something out like this to make a lot of money. And to wrap up my feelings on it, I understand that this game is in beta. I understand that it is not necessarily bad. It works. It's just boring. And maybe they can fix it down the line, but right now, as it is, I would just say if you want a tactical shooter, play Siege, play Valorant, play CSGO, play any other tactical shooter that's not Rogue Company. If I had to put a score on Rogue Company, I would probably give it a 4 out of 10 just because, yeah, it's not bad, it's just really boring, but also it steals so much from other games and it takes so much while not putting out anything that is good and not putting out a quality product for $15, $30, and I think the last one is $45. So just stay away from Rogue Company, play Valorant, play Siege, play CSGO. Don't play this. And if you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching this video. I would encourage you to come to my Twitch stream sometime. I enjoy playing games there, especially bad games. I play a lot of, right now we're playing Duke Nukem Forever at the time of writing this. I'll link it in the subscription below. I would appreciate you dropping by, but I also just really appreciate you watching the video. Thank you so much, and have a good day.